Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the geography class. And today I am going to start the first chapter and quickly I will do the revision what I explained you in the last class. And so let's see here. So I was explaining you about the representation of geographical features. And here, first of all these geographical features, they are represented by, first of all, by some different methods. So some of the important methods, let me explain you. And let's see here some of the important methods once again quickly. So here you can find here, these are the methods by which the relief features are represented on the contour maps or topographical map. So the first thing you can see here, these are the brown lines. These brown lines, they show contours. As you can find here, numbers are written here. So this brown line with this number 100, it represents that the height of this line means this line, it joins all the places having the height of 100 meter. Same way, the second light joins all the places having 200 meter, and here the third one joins all the places having 300 meter. So these lines, they represent one hilly feature. Well, next is the form line. Now here you can find these are also the brown lines, but they are broken lines. So these broken lines are called form lines. They also are contour lines, but why they are called form lines? Let's see here. There are so many areas where the survey is not carried. So what happened? Approximately the surveyors, they just draw a line just to show a approx height. And this is why in some places you can find the form lines. So these form lines, they represent the approximately the height there. Not the accurate height, but approx height. Next is the next method is hatching. And you can find here, these are the lines, contour lines, but here the height, actually the slope here you can see are shown by the dotted lines. And these dotted lines, they show the slopes, and so this method is called hatching. Now this is the old method, you are not going to find in the latest topographical maps. Another method is the hill shading, and here you can find again the contour lines are here, but here the slope actually is shown by the dark shade and the light shade. Dark shade, as you can see here, they show the steep slope, and the light shade, they shows the gentle slope. Now next method, let's see. Another method which is used in the topographical map to show the specific height is called spot heights. So in the maps you can find here, dots will be given and number that shows the specific height of this point is 130 meter. Same way, this height of this place is 240 meter. Height of this place is 362 meter. Same way, another method is triangulated height. Here you can find there are the triangles are shown with the height. Same thing, but this height actually is measured by an instrument. So by one instrument actually, which usually works on the Pythagoras theory. So by the help of those instruments, when the heights are measured, these heights are called triangulated height. So here the height of this specific point will be 340 meter. This one here, what I am showing you, height of this specific point will be 370 meter, and here this height of this specific point will be 480 meter. Another method is benchmark. As you can see here, it is written here BM200. So it calls benchmarks. Benchmark 200, here it is benchmark 225, another one is benchmark 350. So usually there are some places when the height is measured, that height actually, that measurement is maybe written on some monument, maybe on some board, or maybe some pillar is erected there, or some mark is erected, and here there it is written. So those marks actually, it just shows a permanent point there, and they become a benchmark. On the railway stations you can find, especially some of the railway station where the main board actually is showing the junction. Example, Gorakhpur junction, Basti, or maybe Allahabad junction. And especially in the hilly areas when you will go, you will find there on that the height of that place also is mentioned, some of the junctions and some of the stations. So that board becomes a benchmark. So these are the some methods, common methods, which has been used to show the height and to show the relief features. Now let me explain you here some important features related to the contour lines. Contour lines, all of you know, it shows a specific relief feature. But let's see here. So you can find here in this figure, these are the brown lines, contour lines showing specific relief features. But here you should know something. Example, here if you'll find, this is here, this shows a slope of the land. Now another thing, if you find here, these contours are very far from each other. So when the contours are far, they shows a gentle slope. It means the slope of this slope actually is gentle. But same way, another side if you see, this side, the contours are very close to each other. And so what they represent? They represent a steep slope. Now here above, you will see all the contours are at the same distance, equal distance, and it shows a uniform slope. We call it uniform slope. So these are some important features. Now let's move to the representation of geographical features. So let's see here. So first of all, we are going to see about the gentle slope and steep slope. So look here. Now here, as you can find here, I have drawn here one contours, brown lines, and in this contour you will find here, this side the contours are close to each other, but this side the contours are far. So when we draw a cross section of these contours, this type of features you will get. As you can find here in this figure, this side slope is very steep. So when the contours are close, it shows steep slope. Now here when the contours are far, they represent gentle slope. Now next feature, important and common feature, you will see a conical hill. Now here if you find all the contours are almost round in shape and almost equal in distance. So when we draw a cross section of these type of features, so you can see here this type of hills we can get, and we call this type of hill conical in shape, very uniform, slope is very uniform both the side. So this feature is called conical hill. Now let's see here another figure. Here you can find there are the two conical hills are there, but they are shown in the mountainous region. So between them there is a one gap, there is a one small valley. So when we draw a cross section of these contours, and you can see here it represents two hills, and between them there is a one valley, and this feature is called a ridge. We call it a ridge. Now another feature is a watershed. Now same thing, a ridge type of structure as I have shown you here. Same structure, same contours are shown here also. But here if you find one thing, that when the water falls, when the rainfall occurs, so what happens? The rainwater from this point, as you can find here, we can draw a one imaginary line which separates two slopes. This side, the water slopes just flows to this side with this slope, and here another way, this flows to the another direction. So you can see here these blue line represents streams. So as the rainfall occurs, water in the form of stream, they flows to the different side. So here we can draw between them one imaginary line can be drawn to separate the two slopes, the two sides of the mountain. So this is called, this type of feature with the you can see here the streams flowing in the two different directions, they represent a watershed. This feature is called a watershed. Now some of the more features I will show you in the book. So let me show you here. Conical hill I have shown you here in the book. This ridge also I have shown you. Now next feature is a concave slope. So here you can find contours are drawn here, but you will find here the lower contours means 100, 200, 300. These contours are far from each other, but the higher contours you will see, that is from 300, 400, 500, 600 and 700. These all contours are very, very close. So one thing you can note there in your note copies, when the lower contours are far and higher contours are close, so you will see one thing, this slope actually is in a shape of concave, and so these slopes are called concave slope. Next feature, let's see here, figure 1.10. This is a convex slope, and you can find, first of all, let's see here the contours. Now this is just opposite of a concave slope, and here you can find one thing, that the lower contours are close to each other, but the higher contours are far. So when we draw a cross section, you can find here this slope, both sides, you can find the slope actually is in the shape of convex. This is a convex shape, and so this slope is called convex slope. Now next feature, I already have shown you the gentle slope and the steep slope. Then next one is here, you can see here figure 1.13. Already I have shown you, this is a watershed. Now the next feature, let me show you a plateau. Now here you will find contours are given here in figure 1.14, but the central part is very, very broad. So when we draw the cross section, here you can find a tableland, means there is no conical hill, it is a flat, upper portion is flat, so this feature is called a plateau. Now the next feature is a cliff. So next page here, this is another figure 1.15. if anybody has got the book, you can consult it, you can see there in your book. So here you can find here one thing, that here the contour 200, 300, 400, they all meets at one point. So when we draw a cross section, you can find this type of feature we get here. This feature is called cliff. The slope actually we will see it is not gentle, neither steep, but very straight, vertical, and so this feature is called a cliff. Now what happened? Another feature, let's see here. What happened when the water falls here? Suppose a river falls here, what will it form? It will form a waterfall. So the next feature you will see here, figure 1.13, same thing is shown here. Here also, if you see the contour 600, 700 and 800, they all meet at one point, but at the same time you can find here this blue line. This blue line shows what? There is one river. The one river is falling here from this side. As the river falls here, what will it forms here? It forms a waterfall. So this feature with the blue line, same thing, same feature, the feature of that cliff shown with the blue line, it represents a waterfall. Now the next feature, if you'll find, there are 4 features, and you will find here the first feature you can find here, figure 1.17 here. This is a saddle. Another one, 1.18 is a pass. Next one, 1.19, this is a coal. And the next one, 1.20, is a gap. Now if you find one thing, all these 4 features, they looks same type, same way. All the contours are almost same. How you will differentiate? So let's see here one by one. So first of all, we are going to see about a gap. Now if you see here this gap actually, you will see the first contour, this is 100, and from the 200 height, these 2 hills, the small hills, they are separated. So when these type of depression, the valley which is found very close to the ground level, that is only 100 meter, so it is called gap. What we call? We call it a gap. Now next feature we are going to see about the pass. So in the pass, if you find, here the contours are shown in thousands. The first contour is 1000, second is 2000, then third is the 3000 and 4000. So these so high contours are found where? They are found in the mountainous region, very very high mountainous regions like Himalayas. So the pass, these type of features which are found in the very very high mountains, and they are called a pass. What do you call it? We call it a pass. Now let's differentiate between a saddle and a coal. So let's see here. If you find here, the definition of the saddle is given here. A saddle is a shallow depression between 2 peaks. So whenever these type of features, means here you can see here the 2 peaks are given, and between them there is a one valley is given. So this feature usually is called a saddle. But when the same feature saddle will be found here with the watershed, means you will find the water bodies flowing here. Here in the figure it is not shown here, but when you will find some streams flowing to the different directions, so this becomes a watershed. Already I explained you about the watershed. So this feature with the watershed, it is called a coal. So once again, first of all, the gap is found close to the ground level. Second is the pass, which is found in the mountainous region. Contours are shown in the thousands. And the difference between the saddle and coal, the common feature, this feature common, it's called saddle. Same feature with the watershed, we call it coal. This is the difference between all these 4 features which look like a same. Now next we are going to see about the settlement pattern. So if you'll find here, let me show you one map here. In this map, if you'll find, there are so many red dots are given together. Look here. Here this is given here, the name is also written Anthroli. Here also it is called Moti Bhatamal. Here it is given Sangla. Now these are the villages. So now let me show you here. The first thing is we are going to see about the types of settlement. So here the red square, as you can find here, the whole colored red square is, we call it permanent hut. It represents a permanent hut. In topographical language, houses are called hut. So we call it permanent hut. But the red square, it is not colored, it is only a square. It represents a temporary hut. So there are the 2 types of houses. First is a permanent hut, second is a temporary hut. So what happens when all these huts are shown close to each other? You can see here. So all these huts are close to each other, and they are called nucleated or clustered settlement. These type of settlements pattern are called nucleated or clustered settlement. Second is, you will see the permanent huts are very far from each other, and this pattern of settlement is called scattered or dispersed settlement. Now the third one you can find here, there is a one red line is given. This red line represents one road, and on the both side of road if you find the huts are shown. So these huts are shown in one line, they are situated along the road, and this pattern is called linear settlement. So there are three patterns, three types of settlement. What are they? First one, when the permanent huts, when all the huts are shown close to each other in clusters, they are called nucleated or clustered settlement. Second, when all the huts or the houses are far from each other, very far, we call them scattered or dispersed settlement. And the third one is when the huts are shown in one line along some road, we call it linear settlement. So these are the three types of settlement. Now let me explain you about the distance. Not distance, we're going to not, distance is not in our syllabus, so sorry. So we are going to see the directions with reference to urban cities. So here already all of you know about the directions. These four main directions, that is north, south, east, west, all of you know it is called cardinal direction. Then the other four directions, that is northeast, northwest, southwest and southeast, together are called intermediary direction. So let's see how you will go. We are going to find the direction of one settlement from the another one. So let's see here. There is a one example given here. These are the two settlements. This one is Rampura and here it is Zuwal. Now the question is, find the direction of Zuwal from Rampura. So what you will do? So first of all, we will draw one line here meeting these two settlements. So as you will find from here the direction regarding with this direction given here, right? So you will find this Zuwal is towards northwest. So the answer will be Zuwal is situated towards northwest from Rampura. So this thing you have to be very careful. You have to read the question very carefully, and in question if you see from Rampura means you have to find the direction of Zuwal from Rampura. So you have to take Rampura. From here you have to find the another settlement, that which direction it is, and how you will write. We will write the direction to which it is situated. So it is situated towards southwest, and so you will write Zuwal is situated towards northwest from Rampura. So the answer is towards northwest. So this is how we will find the direction. Now this chapter is over now, but we are going to see some conventional signs and symbols. So I will show you directly in the map. So look here, some of the common features again I will tell you. So as you can find here, the yellow color is shown here. This yellow color first of all represent a cultivable land, means the most of the people here, they are engaged in farming, that is agriculture. All these are agricultural land. Next you will see here the south part of the map, there are the brown shades, and these brown shades represent what? They represent the sand dune. What does they represent? They represent the sand dunes. Now I will see here, these are the structures, you can find here black lines, but they are river. So you can find here this small river meeting to the big one. It is written here already, Balram Nadi. And this bigger one, the name is not written here. Well, but it is a Banas river. What is this? This is a river, Banas river. This small river meeting to this Banas river is Balram Nadi. Now next is, you can find here there are so many red lines are there. These red lines represents a cart track. Cart track means a muddy road which joins all the villages, and only the bullock cart, cart track, bullock cart, horse carts, and the only camel cart, because this whole region actually it lies in Rajasthan. So in Rajasthan, camel cart also you can find. You can see there carts are driven by the camels. So only the carts, means the bullock cart, camel cart, and the horse cart, even the buffalo also sometimes are used to drive the carts. So these red lines are called cart track. Now next is, here you can find this is a red line, but it is a broken red line. This broken red line is called pack track. Pack track means the people only they can go on foot. So it is a pack track. So in the whole map, two types of roads are given here. That is the, not two type, third type also is given. Let me show you. So first we have seen here the cart track, second is the pack track. Now next is, if you'll find here, to the most southern part of the map, here it is given a very dark red line. So usually it is seen as a very dark red line, but if somebody is having the book, and you will see it very carefully, very closely, and you will find these are actually the two parallel red lines. As they are drawn actually so close to each other, they looks like a very broad line. So this two parallel red lines represents a metal road. In Hindi we call it Pakki Sadak. So this is a metal road. Another thing if you'll find here in the most southern part, that here is one black line with, you can see here this cut marks are shown here. This is actually a railway track. This is a railway track, and here very small it is written here RS. RS means railway station. Now let's see some of the heights. So here you can find it is written here BM 224.6, that is benchmark 224.6. This is benchmark 225.3. Now another thing, here is one dot is given and 317, that shows spot height 317. Here is spot height 381. This one is spot height 301. Now, so these are some common features. Now let me show you one more here. As I already shown you, these are the so many brown lines can you see here in the northern part of the map, and they are the contour lines, and they are showing a hilly feature. So they are a hilly feature, and you can find your black lines on all the sides. They show this is a seasonal streams. When the rainfall occurs during rainy season, so the water flows down with the slope. But they are shown in the black. Why? Because they are a seasonal stream. They get water only during the rainy season. The rest part of the year they becomes dry. That's why in topographical language we also call them dry streams. What do you call them? Dry streams. So these are some major things I've shown you. Now let us see some of the vocabulary. Important vocabulary you will find. Example, cartography. Now, what is the cartography? Cartography actually is called an art of map drawing which represents the world and the features of a flat surface. So cartography is what? Cartography is a branch of geography which deals with the map study. So this chapter actually it is a part of cartography. Next is the contour. I explained you the brown lines which joins all the places having same height is called contours. Now what is a scale? A scale is used in the map to measure the distance between the 2 points. So next is the contour intervals. Contour interval is the difference between the two contours is called contour interval. Gradient means slope. Next, ordnance survey map. Ordnance survey map represents the map which is usually used for the military, for the army. When the maps are especially prepared for the army, they are called ordnance survey map. Conventional signs and symbols, so many signs already I have shown you, which shows the different features in the map. They are called conventional signs and symbols. So the same way, those who are having the books, you can consult the book very soon. I will try to provide you the notes, and also you will get the homework from the school website. So you can download that PDF file which I will provide you and start doing the homework. Those who have already purchased or arranged the books and the copies, so you start reading the chapter, read the first chapter, and because already the first chapter is over, so before I start the second chapter, so next geography period, I will start the second chapter. So those who are having the book, you read the second chapter. This will be your homework. So read the second chapter, all of you. Don't waste your time, because when I will teach you, when I will explain you, because we are not sitting in the class, so I can't interact you very closely. I can't see your faces, your expression there. So I request you to just read the chapter second. So as I start the second chapter, it will become easier for you to understand. Next one is try to find out the answers which is given there in the exercises. And very soon, when check the website of the school, and as you will get the homework, download it. The notes I will provide there and homework also. And those who have not arranged the book, try to arrange it. And as the school is also arranging the books, and the books are sent by the shopkeeper directly to your houses, so try to arrange the books and the copies and get ready. So all the best. Bye bye. Have a very good day. Thank you very much.